Hey guys, it's Pickles. Miss McCauley couldn't be here today, so I'm going to be recording your gas laws homework. It's a review on factor labeling, so it should be fine. I don't have thumbs though, so bear with me. Get out your gas law homework packets, scrap paper or make your own copy, and let's go! Okay, so let's go over your gas law unit conversions. This should be super simple in a review for you all. You'll always be given these conversion factors. So on average, where you're standing at sea level on Earth's surface, you're under 1 atmosphere of pressure. Make sure you've watched the notes on this topic first. There's a lot of different units because through time, different scientists have made up their own gas law pressures. Oh, Pickles has a lot to say. So 1 atmosphere, Pickles. So 1 atmosphere is 101.3 kilopascals. Remember that kilo means 1,000. So kPa, that K means kilo, which equals 1,000. And Pickles is barking because he wants to make sure you're actually listening to the video and not just scrolling through and missing things. So if you complain you can't read my handwriting, well, I'm going to say every single thing out loud, so please make sure you're listening with volume. So 101.3 kPa, that's the same thing as 101,300 PA pascals, which is the same as 760 millimeters of mercury, which is the same as 760 torr, and if you convert millimeters to inches, you'll get 29.92 inches. Other conversion factors, 1 centimeter is 10 millimeters is 0.393701 inches. If you want, you can go through and prove this to that conversion, or you can just take those numbers. Okay, so here's the first problem. The question asks us how many atmospheres, so we're looking at question mark atmospheres here, are in 98,745 pascals. So we do this factor label problem just like we always have. Pick the way you like to do it. You'll get the same answer. I like to take what we're given over 1 to make it an improper fraction, because all that factor labeling is fractions and unit conversions. So don't worry about any numbers. We want to get the units done first. So if I have pascals in the numerator, class, where does it have to go to cancel? In the denominator. Good. So we put pascals in the denominator. We want to get atmospheres. So if pascals right now are canceling, if you look right here, numerator and denominator cancel, where does atmospheres have to go? Numerator. So if we check right here, I should be left with the units I want. Pascals cancel, I'll be left with atmospheres. Now we just need the equals amount here, the conversion factor. So what's my conversion between atmospheres and pascals? Look up top. 1 atmosphere is exactly 101. Oh, let's see. Nope. That's not going to work. There we go. 101,300 pascals. So what do I do to get the final answer? I take the numerators and divide by the denominators. So you take out your handy-dandy calculator of science, and you take the 98745, divide by 101,300, and you get 0.97477. Now that is what your calculator tells you, but you can't have a more precise answer than your original input. Remember your sig figs. I'm going to go ahead with those in orange. So there are infinite sig figs in my givens. So these are infinitely certain, all of my conversion factors, okay? So I don't take this as 1 sig fig. What I'm looking for is the measured part of the problem. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sig figs. That means that my final answer has to have 5 sig figs. Look at that calculator answer. We've got placeholder, decimal is present. So begin counting from the first non-zero on the Pacific. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's my 5th sig fig that I need to round to. Look 1 to the right. What will that 7 do to the other 7? If you are shouting round up, you are correct. So here is my final answer, rounded for the correct number of sig figs. Okay, I've gone through that one kind of slow. I'll pick it up on the next couple problems, but if you need to, pause, rewind, and follow along with me, or with Pickles, I should say. So question 2, how many millimeters of mercury are in 31.88 inches of mercury? So let's try and figure out what we're solving for. So how many millimeters of mercury? This is my question mark right here. Question mark equals. I'm given 31.88 inches, and I know that I need to get rid of inches. So don't do any numbers yet, just do your units. If it's in the numerator and I want to cancel it, we've got to go denominator. And is there a direct conversion from inches to millimeters of mercury? You betcha. So let's look back up top and see my conversion factors. So everything is equal to 1 atmosphere. That means that this many millimeters of mercury are exactly equal to that many inches of mercury. So now let's plug in those numbers. So from my givens, there's my problem. Now let's check out and see if my units cancel. Inches on top, inches on bottom. That leaves me with millimeters of mercury. That means I'm ready to go plug this into my calculator. So I want you to actually take out your calculator, use your smartphone if you need to, and let's get that calculator answer. Did you get 809.7860963? If so, great job. If not, please take out your calculator. So 1, 2, 3, 4 sig figs in this answer. This has a lot more sig figs than that. We've got to round this number to the right number of sig figs. So we want 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Look to the right. What does the 8 do to the 7? Rounds it up. Here's your final answer. Okay, number 3. Have you noticed I'm color coding all these so you can see how everything cancels out? We're given torr, and we want to get to kilopascals. So we've got kilopascals, kind of question mark here. Oh, I should have made that bright blue. Oh boy, that might confuse you. Let's get the right colors going. So kilopascal, question mark, and I'm using this kind of maroon color for torr. So we have 802.3 torr. It's in the numerator. We got it over 1. We want to cancel it. So before we put any units in, we've got to put torr down here to get it to cancel. Do you see how if it's in the numerator and in the denominator, that when I multiply those fractions, it will cancel out? So if I want to get rid of torr and get to kPa, where does kPa go? kPa goes right on top. Now I got to find that conversion factor. Where does that come from? Very top of your page. So scroll up. Okay, here's my kPa number. Here's my torr number. So there are 101.3 kPa for every 760 torr. Take the tops, multiply them together, divide by the bottom. That's how you do fractions in math class. And I want you to write down your calculator answer here. Actually do it. Actually get out your calculator and do this problem, please. Did you get 106.9381447? If so, good job. Pickles is proud of you. But too precise. So let's round for those sig figs. In our original problem, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 sig figs. That means I've got to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Look to the right. Will the 9 bump, or the 3 bump the 9 up? Nope. It'll stay the same. There's your final answer. Okay, let's try number 4. How many atmospheres are in 790.15 millimeters of mercury? So take what we're given over 1. We're looking for question mark atmospheres, but we know millimeters of mercury. Oops, this should say mmHg right here. Don't put any numbers in yet, just focus on the units. So if I'm given millimeters of mercury, where does it go in my conversion factor? It's on the top, then it has to go on the bottom to cancel. Ooh, maybe. Uh-oh. My touchscreen is unhappy right now. There we go. Now we're back. And we want to get to atmospheres, so what goes right here? Right here we put something. It's supposed to be atmospheres. Let's see if I can get this to cancel. Oh, now I'm inserting a text box. Well, that can't be good. Let's try this again. Ooh, aren't smart screens fun? Okay, now we've got the right unit here. So we have to just go back up to the top, get our conversion factors, come back down right here, and plug in those numbers. So 1 atmosphere is exactly 760 millimeters of mercury. Before you plug it into your handy-dandy calculator of science, I've got millimeters of mercury on top. I've got millimeters of mercury on the bottom. They'll cancel, and I'll be left with atmospheres, which is what I'm looking for. Here's your calculator answer. Check it. Is that what you actually got? Did I write it down wrong? Anything's possible. Last thing, round for sig figs. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, look to the right. Will the 7 round that 6 up? Yep. Here's your final answer. Okay, guys, we're getting through it. We're getting towards the end. Oh, that was fun. How many atmospheres are 97.5 kPa? So what are we doing? We want to know question mark atmospheres equals 97.5 kPa. So take your 97.5 kPa and we put it over 1 to get it as a numerator. We need to get rid of it, so it's going to cancel by going down to the denominator. And there's a direct relationship between kPa, kilopascals, and atmospheres, so these are our units. Remember, before we do any numbers, we want to stop and do our double check here. kPa's cancel. I'm going to be left with atmospheres. It looks like I'm good to go. So scroll back up to the top. Remember, everything is in terms of 1 atmosphere. And then find your kPa number, 101.3. So we're taking 97.5 times 1. Do you have to do the times 1? No. If it makes you feel better, you can. We're dividing by 101.3 kPa. Do a quick mental math check. 97 is almost 100. 101 is almost 100. 100 divided by 100 should be about 1. So what should my answer be right around here? A little bit less than 1. Did I get a little bit less than 1? Yeah, pretty darn close. And I'm looking for 3 sig figs. 1, 2, 3. Remember, placeholder, decimals present, first non-zero from the Pacific, 1, 2, 3. So look at the 4. Does the 4 round the 2 up? Nope. Final answer right there. Okay, number 6. How many atmospheres? So right now we want to find question mark atmospheres are in 1066 millimeters of mercury. So just like we've done before, put what you know over 1. Now we have a numerator. We want to cancel millimeters of mercury, so we put it in the denominator. We want atmospheres, and yes, we have a direct relationship between millimeters of mercury and atmospheres. How do you figure it out? Like I've been showing you, go back up top. 1 atmosphere, 760 millimeters of mercury. So 1 atmosphere, oh boy, 1 atmosphere is 760 millimeters of mercury. Take the numerators, divide them by the denominators, and your trusty calculator should tell you 1.40263159, which is way too precise. Your original problem, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 sig figs. If you disagree with there being 4 sig figs here, please go back to your chapter 2 notes. So I'm going to round 1, 2, 3, 4. That's my 5th sig fig. Will the 6 round the 2 up? Yes, it will. Let's get rid of that. 1.403. Okay, so close to the end. So this one, now they're saying how many millimeters of mercury, so question mark millimeters of mercury, are in 31.55 inches. So take what we know over 1, make it an improper fraction. We want to cancel inches of mercury, so before any numbers, let's get the units done properly. So we want to put the inches of mercury on the bottom, and when we do that, can't you see how this is going to cancel out? And we want to get to millimeters of mercury on the numerator. So that should work. And now we want to go back and put our numbers in. So let's get our factors from the top. Take 31.55 times 760 and divide by 29.92. We get 801.403. But we want 4 sig figs. 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, round the 4 up. Here's your final properly rounded answer. Okay, it's the last problem. How exciting. Let me extend the page a little bit so it's in the center of our frame. How many atmospheres? So right now, oops. Ooh, wrong color. That would be so confusing. How many atmospheres are in 32.9 inches of mercury? So, like always, take what we're given, put it over 1. That just makes it easier for you to see if it's a numerator or denominator. It's an improper fraction right now. We need to cancel inches of mercury. And when I do that, you can see if I've got it in the numerator and in the denominator, it'll cancel out. We want to get from inches of mercury to atmospheres. Is there a direct relationship there? Yes, look back on top. 1 atmosphere is 29.92 inches of mercury. So 1 atmosphere, 29.92 inches of mercury. Take all the numerators, multiply them, divide by the denominator. Take a quick second to guesstimate this. 32 is pretty close to 30. 29 is pretty close to 30. 30 divided by 30 is 1. This answer should be pretty close to 1. The numerator is bigger, so it should be a little bit more than 1. Let's see if our mental math was correct. Please use your calculator. Check this number. We get 1.09959893. That's pretty darn close to 1. 1, 2, 3 sig figs. 1, 2, 3. Look to the right. Does the 9 round the 9 up? Yes. So this 9 bumps this 9 up to 10. We get 1.10 atmospheres. That's my 1, 2, 3 sig figs. So could I just leave 1.1? No. I've got to have that 0 because that gives me my 3 sig figs. You did it. We just finished all of page 1, the unit conversions. If you have questions, please contact your teacher or Pickles for more help. Bye, guys.